We're joined for the rest of the hour, and I apologize for getting him on late, but we decided to have that state police officer on. But it's a perfect segue into this. He's Stewart Rhodes, created a great website. He's a constitutional lawyer, but masses of military and police have been saying they pledge to be oath keepers and not violate the Bill of Rights, Constitution, and to follow their oath. And it's when I read it, I said, this person has a deep knowledge of what's going on, because this is how I would have written it, probably better than I would have written it. So, Stewart Rhodes, thanks for coming on, sir.
Oh, you're welcome, and you're absolutely right. That was a fantastic segue. That officer is an oath keeper, and that's exactly what we are here to do, is to bring more men like that out. And most of the members of our organization don't use their real names, or we don't even want to know who they are, because just like that gentleman there just did, we want them to be able to continue in their job and continue doing the good work for the American people.
But because the federal government is so out of control and criminal, I mean, that's a sad testament that these officers don't even really have their own First Amendment to say they don't appreciate the country being destroyed.
That's right, and standing up and saying you might actually obey the Constitution could get you canned. So that's the world we live in right now. But you've probably been to our site. You can see the flood of testimonials we have in from veterans. Most of the veterans are not afraid to put their name on it, because they're no longer within reach of being punished for it, and they're standing up and saying, no, we're not going to do this. And the veterans are very important, because the veterans are there to teach the young bucks how to behave, to show them what they're supposed to be doing. And so that's our mission, is to remind them of their oath, to teach them what it was they swore an oath to defend, and then to steel their resolve to do what's right. And that officer is correct. You got to do that in advance. You got to do it ahead of time, so that when you draw your own lines in the sand and prepare yourself mentally to do what's right, and then you'll do it.
Absolutely. Just amazing testimonials on the site. What gave you the idea to create this, and how many people have come on the site and pledged in just a few weeks it's been up that they're going to stand by the Constitution and Bill of Rights?
Well, I was working for in Congressman Paul's campaign here in Nevada. I used to work in his D.C. office, but I was so focused on the campaign. But about a year and a half ago, I had the idea that, what do we do next? And if this campaign's not successful, what's our next move? And my thought was, let's have our focus of effort be on the men with the guns. If you're going to have an awakening of 1 million people, so you're going to have a chance to awaken 1 million people to be constitutionalist, would you want to focus on the military? And those are the men who are supposed to be our guardians.
Exactly. If tyranny,
they're the guardians of the republic. That's what they are.
Yes, if tyranny's going to come, it's going to come in the form of a uniform. The Ron Paul revolution's probably woken up. Even mainstream media says probably 20, 30 million Americans identify now. Imagine if we focused on the police and military. Game over for the New World Order. Go ahead.
Exactly, precisely. It's like maneuver warfare theory. You go to the rear of the enemy. You go to the heart of their strength. It's kind of like in the Lord of the Rings, how the Ring of Power. They think the Ring of Power is that these guys are going to do whatever they say. They think the oath is their ring of power. But it's not true. The oath is to the Constitution, and even more fundamentally, it's to the people. And so we're going to take that right to Mount Doom and toss it right up their chute.
Oh, man, that analogy is just pure gold. You are something special.
Well, let me tell you something. I write for SWAT Magazine, and here's what actually got me thinking about this. Is about a year and a half ago, I wrote a column, and in response to that column, we got a letter from a U.S. J.R. Ewell, Colonel, U.S. Army retired, and he said the Constitution and our Bill of Rights are gravely endangered today, and this community of military and veterans and law enforcement is where they will be saved, if they are to be saved at all. And he had the same insight you did, is look, they can't do it without those guys. Game over. It'd be like the end of the movie V for Vendetta. That the military stands down, and there's nothing between the people and the vultures. Nothing. And that's what our goal is.
Well, I mean, police are going to lose their houses. They already are. They're going to lose their future in this New World Order.
That's right.
They're going to lose their Second Amendment.
Yeah, and their children will be indentured servants for the rest of their lives. That's right.
Yeah, the globalists have overplayed their hand. And I keep telling listeners, the phony churches on government payroll, I told you this a decade ago, now it's declassified, are telling you to stand down. So there's several rings of power. One is the police and the enforcers. The others is the churches. Got to take those back. Stay there, sir. We're going to tell folks how they can visit the Oath Keepers website when we come back. Another ragtag band. Declaring independence. They laid their bodies down in a bloody war. For liberty, for their descendants. Look in the mirror. That's you. That's me. Thanks to the renegades, we're free today. Thanks to the renegades, we're free today. Thank God for the renegades and the lives they lead. Far ahead of their time. Without the renegades, Lord knows where we'd be. When it comes to heroes, renegades are mine. And going back to the Mordor analogy, you have the tower, the mountain of power with the all-seeing eye with its armies moving across the world, but right here in its command base, right here in Empire U.S., it is distracted, looking everywhere for the ring. That's what this MIAC report is they're counting on the police and military being Uruk-hai or orcs or black ships from the east. They're planning on them going along with this evil and being seduced by the dark side, by being played and manipulated and maneuvered into war with the American people as they destroy their own futures, as they burn their own beds, their own nest. It's going to fail. It is going to fail. You have to first believe that and know that and reach out to the police and military now so they understand and educate them. Waking up one police officer or one active duty military person is like waking up 1,000 regular Americans. Now, we have to also understand that the key here is there's people like Stewart Rhodes over there with oath-keepers.blogspot.com, oath-keepers.blogspot.com, or just Google his name, Stewart Rhodes, Oath Keepers, and it'll come up for you. We've got it up on screen right now at prisonplanet.tv. The fact that there is Ron Paul and Alex Jones and Stewart Rhodes and Jesse Ventura and thousands of other prominent people fighting, not just millions waking up and fighting, if they kill me, it only makes my information grow that much faster. If I was the only guy doing this, though, I'd be dead. If Stewart was the only guy doing this, they'd go set him up or something. But there's too many of us now. They can't target and intimidate. They had the Ron Paul girl in here last night. I didn't know that, but she was on my show last time. They were waiting for her outside. Yeah, Amy Allen, with crowbars, stealing nothing, just putting her in the hospital, breaking bones. That is the type of intimidation. I've been physically attacked, and they've told me, shut up or you're dead next time, but I fought back and fought them off, and they didn't like getting hurt real. I got hurt bad, too, but they were surprised that I wasn't a sheep, and I actually went absolutely ape. Because I'm not a slave, folks. You attack me, I attack right back. Quite frankly, the time enjoyed it. That's just how I am. That's living there, You don't really live until 4 people are pounding on you, but sad for her, she's a little girl. They hurt her bad. But you can't let that scare you. You got to say, oh, that means I'm hurting you. That means I'm getting close to the crack of doom to dump this ring in. You have to dare great, ladies and gentlemen, and you can succeed. Okay, I'm going to shut up. I made those points. It's just that they're also trying to divide our movements, trying to demonize, trying to say, don't trust this leader, don't trust that leader. That's the operatives. That's what COINTELPRO does. This person's a Mason. That person's a Vatican assassin. This person works for Israel. It's the information that's key. Bill of Rights, Constitution, liberty, Second Amendment, national sovereignty, cut the size of government, kick them out of the states. You know a tree by its fruits. So the other attack is to divide us. Now, go ahead and comment on those points, Stewart Rhodes, and let's get into the Oath Keepers.
Well, you're absolutely right, and that's why Oath Keepers. We've always stressed that this was first contemplated and first planned before the election. We didn't care who got elected; it didn't make a difference who was going to be president. We saw the growth of executive power, and we're talking about active duty military and veterans, and these gentlemen don't care who's president. We're looking at the big picture, and we stay neutral on politics. We stay neutral on the Iraq War. In fact, I'll be possibly speaking at a big event in June, a big pro-troops rally in June. I was invited by former Navy SEAL Captain Larry Bailey of Gathering of Eagles. So a lot of the more hardcore conservative groups who might not have listened during Bush are starting to wake up and understand what the great danger is. And so we're seeing an awakening. Like the officer said, it's a quickening. And it doesn't make a difference. Forget about left and right and forget about that kind of stuff. Like you've said before, it's about liberty or tyranny. That's the dividing line. And so we go back to the basics. We go back to the Declaration of Independence. We go back to the Bill of Rights. We go back to the Constitution. Those are those are our common bond.
Absolutely.
And that's all we care about. And you swore an oath to defend the Constitution, and you swore an oath more fundamentally to defend the people of this country. And that's all we care about, and that's what really matters.
And their interest is with the American people, too.
Of course. Well, you know what? They don't belong to the Mordor and the Potomac. They belong to us. They're our fathers. They're our sons. They're our sisters. They're our uncles. They are us. They don't belong to them. They belong to us. We're taking them back.
That's right. They don't belong to Mordor, do they?
No, they don't. Yeah, and we're taking them back.
They belong to Midas Tirith.
That's
the whole thing.